A particle you observe right now just changed its behavior because you looked at it. That is not a metaphor. That is a measured, repeatable, Nobel Prize-backed fact, and it is only the beginning. Fact number 1. Observation physically changes reality. In 1927, physicist Werner Heisenberg proved something that genuinely broke the scientific community. The act of measuring a quantum particle does not simply record its state, it creates its state. Before observation, an electron does not have a definite position. It exists as a probability cloud, a smear of all possible locations simultaneously. The moment a detector, any detector, even a photon of light, interacts with it, the wave function collapses and the particle snaps into one fixed location. This was confirmed spectacularly in the famous double-slit experiment, replicated thousands of times in labs worldwide. Fire electrons one at a time through two slits, and they create an interference pattern as if each electron goes through both slits at once. The second you place a detector to watch which slit the electron uses, the interference pattern vanishes. The electron behaves like an ordinary particle. It knew it was being watched. This phenomenon, called quantum measurement or wave function collapse, is not theoretical speculation. It is the operational foundation of every quantum computer on Earth today. Reality, at its most fundamental level, is not a fixed thing. It is a set of probabilities that crystallizes only when something interacts with it. Let that sink in. Visual note: display a clean animated infographic showing the double-slit experiment, electron wave pattern on left versus particle pattern on right when detector is active. Use blue and orange color scheme. Academic diagram style only. Fact number 2. Two particles can share one reality across any distance. In 1935, Albert Einstein called this spooky action at a distance, and he meant it as an insult, because he was sure it was wrong. He was not wrong. Quantum entanglement is the verified phenomenon where two particles, once interacted, become permanently linked regardless of the distance separating them. Measure the spin of particle A and it instantly, not fast, not light speed fast, but instantly, with zero time delay, determines the spin of particle B, no matter if particle B is across the room or across the galaxy. In 2017, Chinese scientists using the Michias satellite entangled particles and held that entanglement across a record-breaking distance of 1,203 kilometers. The correlation was confirmed with a statistical certainty of over 4 sigma. In 2022, physicists Alain Aspect, John Clauser, and Anton Zeilinger won the Nobel Prize in Physics specifically for experimentally proving entanglement is real and that Einstein's hidden variable alternative was definitively wrong. There is no secret message being passed between the particles. They simply share one quantum state, split across space. The universe does not care about distance. Visual note: infographic showing two particle icons connected by a dashed line, labeled entangled pair. Distance meter beneath scales from 1 meter to 1,203 kilometers, use a clean white background with purple accent lines. Fact number 3, quantum tunneling powers the sun and your phone. Imagine rolling a ball at a wall. Classically, if the ball does not have enough energy to get over the wall, it bounces back. Every time. No exceptions. Now imagine the ball sometimes just appears on the other side of the wall without ever going over it. That is quantum tunneling, and it is not magic, it is the reason the sun shines. Inside the sun's core, protons need to fuse together to release nuclear energy. But the electrostatic repulsion between two positively charged protons should, classically, be impossible to overcome at the sun's actual core temperature of approximately 15 million degrees Celsius. That temperature is not hot enough. The protons tunnel through the energy barrier quantum mechanically, fusing despite not technically having enough energy to get there. Without quantum tunneling, the sun would be cold and dark, and life on Earth would not exist. Closer to home, the flash memory chip inside your smartphone right now stores data by precisely controlling electrons tunneling through a thin insulating barrier. Every photo you take, every message you send, is written and erased using controlled quantum tunneling. The impossible is doing your homework. Visual note: side-by-side diagram, left panel shows classical ball bouncing off an energy barrier wall, right panel shows quantum particle passing through the same wall. Label both clearly. Use a yellow to orange gradient for the energy barrier. Fact number 4. A single atom was photographed being in two places at once. Superposition is perhaps the most infamous quantum concept, and in 2016, a team at Oxford University made it undeniably, photographically real. Using a technique called quantum gas microscopy, researchers trapped a single ytterbium atom in an optical lattice and imaged it occupying two spatially distinct sites simultaneously. The atom was not flickering between positions. It was genuinely, measurably, at two locations at the same time, holding a coherent superposition state. The photographic evidence was published in the journal Nature. This is also the principle behind quantum computing. A classical computer bit is either 0 or 1. A quantum bit, or qubit, can be 0, 1, or any superposition of both simultaneously. Google's Sycamore quantum processor, unveiled in 2019, used 53 qubits in superposition to perform a specific calculation in 200 seconds that they estimated would take the world's best classical supercomputer 10,000 years. Superposition is not a thought experiment. It is being engineered right now in labs in California, China, and Germany. Visual note, split-screen infographic, left, artistic representation of atom as glowing dot appearing at two grid positions simultaneously. Right, classical bit, 0 to 1 toggle, versus qubit, overlapping 0 and 1 wave. Academic, colorful, clean. Fact number 5, empty space is not empty, it explodes with energy constantly. Pull everything out of a container, every atom, every photon, every particle, and what you have is a vacuum. Nothing. Except, according to quantum field theory, confirmed experimentally to extraordinary precision, the vacuum is not nothing. It is violently, relentlessly active. Quantum field theory tells us that every point in space is filled with quantum fields, and those fields fluctuate randomly and constantly, briefly popping pairs of virtual particles into existence, a particle and its antiparticle, which annihilate each other in an instant measured in fractions of a femtosecond. These are called vacuum fluctuations, or zero-point energy. The proof is called the Casimir effect, first predicted by Dutch physicist Hendrik Casimir in 1948 and experimentally confirmed in 1997 by physicist Steve Lamoro at the University of Washington. Place two uncharged, perfectly smooth metal plates nanometers apart in a vacuum, and they will be pushed together by a measurable force. Not gravity. Not electromagnetism. The pressure of virtual particles popping into existence in the space between them, compared to the greater number popping into existence outside them. Empty space pushes things. The void has weight. Visual note, animated style infographic diagram of two vertical metal plates close together in a vacuum box, with small particle-antiparticle pair arrows between them and more arrows outside. Label, Casimir force. Blue vacuum background with white particle indicators. Fact number 6, quantum teleportation is real and has already been done. Before you say it, no, this is not Star Trek teleportation. What it is arguably stranger. Quantum teleportation is the process of transferring the exact quantum state of one particle to another particle at a distant location, with perfect fidelity, using entanglement and classical communication combined. The original particle state is destroyed in the process. This is not copying, this is moving the information that defines what a particle is. It was first achieved experimentally in 1997 by Anton Zeilinger's team in Innsbruck, Austria, teleporting the quantum state of a photon. In 2022, scientists at Caltech's IGNET collaboration achieved quantum teleportation across a 44-kilometer fiber optic network with a fidelity exceeding 90%, using existing infrastructure beneath the streets of the greater Los Angeles area. China's Michia satellite program has demonstrated quantum state transfer between ground stations over 1,400 kilometers apart. The Chinese government has invested over 100 billion yuan, approximately $15 billion into quantum communication infrastructure since 2016, specifically because quantum teleported encryption keys are mathematically impossible to intercept without detection. Teleportation is not coming. It is already being used to protect state secrets. Visual note, clean network diagram showing two city nodes connected by a glowing fiber line, labeled 44 kilometers, small quantum state icons, wave symbols, transfer from left node to right. Caltech and Michias satellite labels. Academic infographic style. Fact number 7. Time itself behaves differently at the quantum scale, and may not exist at all. This is the one. Physicists Carlo Rovelli and Bryce DeWitt derived an equation called the Wheeler-DeWitt equation in 1967, which describes the quantum state of the entire universe. The equation has one extraordinary feature: the variable for time does not appear in it. Not hidden. Not implied. Simply absent. If the equation correctly describes reality, and it is taken seriously by leading theoretical physicists including Stephen Hawking, who used it extensively, then time is not a fundamental property of the universe. It is an emergent phenomenon, something that arises from the interaction of quantum systems with each other, an illusion generated by entanglement. In 2019, a team led by physicist Eckhard Peak at Germany's PTB Institute tested the world's most precise atomic clock, accurate to 1 second in 300 million years, and confirmed that time measurably slows at lower elevations due to weaker gravity, a direct prediction of relativity confirmed to 18 decimal places. Time is not a constant background. It warps, it slows, and at the quantum level, it may not be real at all. The clock on your wall is measuring something that the deepest equations of physics cannot find. Visual note: infographic showing a clock face dissolving into a quantum wave pattern at the edges. Beside it, a vertical scale showing time dilation at different elevations with labeled markers. Wheeler-DeWitt equation displayed as a clean text graphic, h psi equals 0, no time variable. Academic presentation, no alarming imagery. Fact number 8. The universe may be running on quantum information, and we are the proof. In 2021, theoretical physicists at the Perimeter Institute in Ontario published a landmark paper building on decades of work by John Archibald Wheeler, who coined the phrase "it from bit" in 1989. The proposal, now a serious research program called Quantum Information Theory of Spacetime, suggests that space, time, gravity, and matter are not primary ingredients of reality. They are outputs. The universe is, at its deepest level, a quantum information processing system, and what we experience as physical reality is the readout. This is not philosophy. The mathematics connecting quantum information theory and general relativity via a framework called holographic duality, specifically the Ryuta-Kuyanagi formula proven in 2006, shows that the entropy of quantum entanglement literally calculates the geometry of spacetime. Pull the entanglement apart and the space between objects dissolves. Add entanglement and space emerges. In laboratory analog experiments using ultra-cold atomic systems in 2022, teams at Harvard and MIT demonstrated that they could create and manipulate a simple analog of spacetime geometry purely by controlling quantum entanglement between particles. We are not in the universe. We may be the universe computing itself into existence, one quantum interaction at a time. Visual note: final infographic, a glowing lattice grid representing spacetime, with entanglement lines woven through it as the structural support. Label: entanglement equals spacetime geometry. Ryuta-Kuyanagi formula displayed as clean academic text. Deep space blue and gold color palette. Reality is not what you were taught. It is stranger, more connected, and more mind-bending than any science fiction ever imagined, and every single fact you just heard is backed by peer-reviewed, Nobel Prize-winning science. The universe is quantum all the way down, and you are made of particles that do not fully exist until something looks at them. Subscribe to Moonlit Minds for daily mind-blowing facts that will change how you see the world.